At a time when the coronavirus cases are spiking, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is defending his decision to close down a number of emergency Federal Reserve loan programs. Mnuchin says that the $455 billion allocated for those federal loan programs could be put to better use in relief programs for unemployed workers and small businesses. Democrats aired their criticism on Tuesday as Mnuchin and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell testified at a Senate Banking Committee meeting. Joining us now to talk more from Dallas, Texas, is Monique Peters. Monique, the numbers are spiking. People need help. People need support. Some people still have not received their stimulus checks from earlier this year. If they did, they received them late. There are lots of questions about funding and resources so that we can continue on through the next several months in the midst of a global pandemic.
Yes, you are correct. So this is a very kind of murky subject for people to wrap their arms around. All they know is they want their stimulus check money. Some people are hurting very badly, and I understand that. Now, to clarify what Steve Mnuchin is doing with these reallocations of the funds that previously belonged to the CARES Act and went unused because people weren't, applying for the funds. So I'm going to get to that in a second, but he's basically wanting to move the funds to a general category that requires the approval of the House and the Senate to use. So that means they have to agree on how it's going to be used. Now, what Mnuchin is suggesting is that instead of giving loans to small businesses, he wants to give them grants. So he wants to use that money to give them grants, which means they wouldn't have to pay it back. Okay. The other question is that right now, a lot of businesses aren't even open. So you have to ask yourself, why are they applying for loans? Probably to pay for their rent of their facilities, to pay their employees as much as they can. But a lot of businesses are also shutting down, which explains why all these funds weren't used. So, it's definitely going to require some negotiations, and they have been going back and forth, as you all know, for a very long time, and it's becoming extremely frustrating for the American people.
It's interesting, the thought that you mentioned there about the lack of applications, because certainly we did hear over and over again that it did get to a point where money was just sitting there and that it was not being applied for. Some of that possibly to the degree that people didn't fully understand the capacity of what to apply for and how to do so, maybe different things that they needed to be able to navigate or have in order so that money sat there. And so that's a very interesting point, that you brought about how to navigate through this money, what to do with the money, how to best use the money, especially if the businesses are not open at this time.
Correct. And if it's a loan, as a business owner, you also have to think, well, I have to eventually pay this back. If I'm not making money in my business, why would I continue to take out a loan that I have to pay back? So when you think about it, his suggestion about trying to create grants for businesses is a really good solution. But the other problem is, so this is all tied into the stimulus package. The other problem is separate from this, you have the Democrats and the Republicans arguing about the stimulus package as a whole and how to use those funds. One side wants to use them to protect
Sure.
businesses from being sued. The other side wants to use them to release federal prisoners and give stimulus checks to illegal immigrants. At the end of the day, like they just need to come to some type of resolution because people are
Absolutely.
really hurting. So,
Absolutely. Certainly a very, very unique and very heavy time for many people. And I'm hoping that a resolve is made and is done so